Mickey Spagnola joins us now, our Cowboys insider on the Little Caesars Hot and Ready hotline. I was convinced before the week began. I was like, yeah, I know that the Colts have been struggling just a little bit, but you know that this season is going to come down to week 17 for the Cowboys. It just wouldn't be right unless it did. But sure as bleep, the Cowboys had their best game of the season. Yes, would you consider their best? Let me do it this way. Fill in the blank. The best game the Cowboys have played since blank.
It's been the most dominating game I think they've had. Yeah, we'd have to go back and look game by game by game. Certainly the most dominating game this year against a credible opponent. But had you been listening to me, I told you they were going to run the table the final 4 games of the season.
You did. You said that the whole Cowboys in December theory was finally going to pop, and that it didn't mean anything to begin with. You have been calling this, but why? What has been at play? Because DeMarco Murray has not been the same DeMarco Murray, Mickey. I mean, so what is the difference?
Well, here's what's happened. The reason DeMarco Murray hasn't been the same DeMarco Murray, other than having to play with a fractured fourth metacarpal in his left hand, is the fact that teams have basically said, you aren't rushing for 150 yards against us, and they're crowding the line of scrimmage, and they're basically saying, we got enough corners and linebackers to take down your wide receivers, and Tony Romo can't beat us. I can't understand how Indianapolis, after watching what the Cowboys did to Philadelphia, with Philadelphia playing single safety high, had the nerve to come into AT&T Stadium and basically play single safety high and say, Des Bryant, we can cover you. Jason Witten, we can cover you. Terrence Williams, we can cover you. I mean, they could have asked me. I could have made a lot of money, and they could have saved a lot of money on their scouts not sending them to games. I mean, what were they thinking? Romo completes 18 of 20 passes. He's got a 154 quarterback rating, and it took, I think, till it got to at least 21-0 before they finally backed off and started saying, yeah, we probably ought to double Dez, and maybe we need 2 safeties back there. I don't know, but that's the deal, and it's a perfect thing for the Cowboys that if you say you're going to gang up on the run, they can beat you throwing the ball. If you want to try to gang up on throwing the ball, they'll beat you running the ball. And when you've got
which poison would you pick, Mickey?
Which way would I pick if I was the defense?
Yeah, if you're an opposing team, if you were an opposing team against the Cowboys offense, which poison would you pick?
I would pick the running poison, because then I'm betting that the Cowboys have to execute probably 10 to 12 plays to drive 80 yards instead of them hitting me for a big one and only needing 5 to 6 plays. So I would bet that their execution is going to falter before I run out of real estate. And DeMarco Murray's not the type of back that's going to take one to the house from 40 yards. Now, he may keep grinding and grinding and grinding, but at least you make him at least drive 12 to 14 plays to score, not get the big chunks like they can in the passing game.
Mickey Spagnola with us. So this MVP talk that started to pop up yesterday for Tony Romo, you buying it?
Sure, why not? He's the top-rated quarterback in the National Football League right now. He's got his team at 11-4. And this was a team that everybody figured at this time this year, at the beginning of the season, would be 4-11.
I feel like this talk is awful late. Where's it been? I mean, if he's been an MVP candidate all year, I haven't heard about it.
They haven't been paying attention. They haven't been paying attention to how well he's been playing. And just take the whole body of work. Throw out the first game, and I know it counts. It was a clunker. The only games he's lost since the San Francisco game is Washington, and he broke 2 bones in his vertebrae in the game and tried to play through it. The Cowboys lost to Arizona. He didn't play. And they lost to Philadelphia on 2.5 days basically rest, coming back from that Sunday night game in New York and then having to play Philadelphia on Thanksgiving Day. Those are their losses. So The only one that you could say Tony Romo was just really bad, and he wasn't prepared to play that game because he hadn't played enough, not only in practice but in preseason, was the season opener against San Francisco. And don't you wish they had a redo on that one and played them later in the season instead of the season opener?
Mickey, the way I look at it, tell me if I'm wrong, I think the only two possible matchups for the Cowboys in the first round are the Packers or the Lions. Is that correct?
Oh,
unless something really weird happens.
They still have an opportunity to get a first round bye.
Right. But I'm saying if the Cowboys fall in that 3 seed, I think they would play the Lions or the Packers, which is most likely for the Cowboys. Of those two, what's the best matchup for the Cowboys and why?
Oh, you know what? The way this offense is playing, just bring them on. Let them come down here. That's the way I look at it.
You are so confident in this team right now. This is fantastic.
I had said earlier, somebody asked me, what are you more worried about, getting in the playoffs or what they can do after they get in? I said I'd be more worried about getting in the playoffs. I think if they got in, they could do some damage just because of the offense. Now, the defense at some point is going to come into play. And I don't know how far this whole thing's going to go. But when you can score in the last 3 games 41, 38, 42 points, you got a chance to win every time you step on the field. And no one's figured out a really good way to shut down this offense if Tony Romo's on the field and healthy.
Did I hear you patting on a table while you were making your point? If so, that is awesome.
That is funny because I did it. I did it this morning when I did my report on the Fan, and they go, "What's going on in there?" I go, "What do you mean?" They go, "We hear some rustling." I said, "I was pounding on the table when I was making my point."
I love it. Mickey Spagnola with us on the Little Caesars Hot and Ready Hotline. I want to read to you an email I got from a listener, a Cowboys fan, last week, and we discussed it. We haven't talked to you since I got it, but we discussed it on the show, and I just want to get your thoughts on it. Give me about 60 seconds here, and I'll let you respond to it. It says, "Easy, I am originally from Oklahoma City and listen to you from here in Dallas every day. I love when you guys talk to Mickey Spagnola. You all had an interesting conversation." This is last week, by the way. "You all had an interesting conversation regarding how the Cowboys have been unsurprising in Mickey's estimation. Mickey talked about how the only 2 anomalies recently were the game in which Tony Romo did not start, and then the Thanksgiving game in which Tony Romo clearly, quote, wasn't right, unquote. There has been a lot of talk around Dallas about that Thanksgiving game being a huge anomaly, and rightfully so. But I think they miss a huge point in talking about it on local radio, and I try to call in or email into the couple of shows that I listen to down here, but have not got my question answered. I'm hoping maybe you have an answer or at least can theorize, which I know you like to do. So here is my setup. Thanksgiving was the one game in which Romo played but was not allowed to take his regular pain-killing shot that he takes weekly. As I understand it, the masking agent is so powerful that it can do more harm than good if taken more than once in a week span. So, when Romo took the shot on the Sunday previous to Thanksgiving against the New York Giants, he couldn't take it again 4 days later when he played on Thanksgiving against the Philadelphia Eagles, when he went 18 for 29 for 199 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. My question is this: how is it not a story that Romo is so hurt that the type of painkiller that is needed to quell the pain is one in which he cannot take more than once a week? Should I, as a Cowboys fan, be worried that Romo is one bad hit to his back away from having his career ended? Thanks for reading."
Wow, that's pretty comprehensive, isn't it?
No doubt.
No. He was taking the painkiller predominantly at this point in the season for the pain that was caused by the 2 transverse process fractures, not from the surgery he had for the herniated disc. The herniated disc just needs daily maintenance. It doesn't need the painkiller. And I think he's right on the Toradol about taking 2 of those within a week's span. I've heard that before. I haven't asked anybody recently about it, but there is something to that, and I think it can be harmful if you take it to in too close proximity to each other. But other than that, no, I don't think he's one hit away from ending his career. But you can't keep breaking bones in your vertebrae because you're getting hit, right?
Yeah, that would probably be
discourage me from dropping back in the pocket. I'll tell you that.
That's right. Let's go ahead and hand off to Murray again. That's right. Yes.
There you go.
All right, Mick. Good talking to you, man. Always a pleasure.
I'll try to keep my hands to myself next time, okay?
Mickey,
absolutely not. We want that. We want you to continue to do that.
As a Packers fan, if we get that matchup, I prefer it's played in London, not Dallas.
Oh, very good. Well, if they get the matchup with the Packers, make sure you come down and go to the game.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, you guys. Enjoy.
See you,
Thanks, buddy.